It's the HipHopMatrix Show.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
It's the HipHopMatrix Show with J.Hall and DJ Akademiks.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Let's get it.
Yeah, what's good? The HipHopMatrix Show. Myself, J.Hall, this brother right here, DJ Akademiks. What's up, my guy?
45-37. I don't know. That movie was just in my head for a second.
What?
All About the Benjamins. 45, 35, 27. Do.
Bro, you
35, 47.
that nobody cared about.
People cared about All About the Benjamins.
No, man,
All About the Benjamins is a classic. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody says.
You throw the C word around so much.
All About the Benjamins is a classic.
Everything is classic.
Yo, book 'em.
You think everything is a classic? You think Slurpees are classics?
Slurpee is a classic. Slurpee is an American classic.
Bro.
I never said that, but I 100% agree with it.
There's nothing you don't think is that a classic, bro.
I've never said that, but I
swear to
100%
you,
agree.
bro.
A Slurpee is an American classic.
There's nothing. Like, All About the
You have a
Benjamins-
national chain that is founded off of a Slurpee.
All About the Benjamins is not a classic.
Yes, it is. It's a classic
How,
comedy.
Sway?
It's a classic
I don't-
comedy.
where you-
60 million. 60 million.
Nobody makes a
60
meme
million.
about it. Nobody quotes it.
Do,
But
do,
you.
do, do, do.
Nobody knows what you're talking about, bro.
People know. Everybody know. You just don't know. But that's
Right.
okay.
Right.
Because you're not one of the cool kids.
That's I wasn't one of the ones.
You're not invited to the cookout.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Speaking of cookout, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was cool. That was a cook-in, though.
Oh, okay. Did you have the big family thing this year? Or
Yeah, I host at my house. I host at
Okay.
my house.
And so, how many people came through?
It was like 30.
You had 30 people at your house?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, bro. What's like? How long does
I mean, you got both sides. So, I mean, yeah. Adds up quick.
I guess I wouldn't know. I mean, how long does it take to prepare that type of food? Does everyone just bring?
I mean, you got some people bring, but, I wasn't cooking. So, I mean, all day they cooked the day before, all day that day until it's time. So, it takes a whole day.
What's the food that's like one you look forward to every Thanksgiving?
What's the food I look forward to Thanksgiving? Now being an adult, I just look forward to just relaxing, just not even food, just chilling, just not having to leave the house, just being somebody that's always running around, just being able to just sit still all day and do nothing.
Do you really relax during Thanksgiving? Because that's the time where everybody's active and over your house, and you having all these conversations and all this other stuff.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I guess it would be macaroni and cheese, something like that. I guess to answer your question, yeah, macaroni and cheese, banana pudding. Yeah, I guess those are my go-tos.
So mine is, and do you, before I even say what mine is, are those meals that you only have when Thanksgiving come? Like you don't have it no other time?
Macaroni and cheese don't come around that often, but I have banana pudding more often than that, though.
Okay. So mine is stuffing, dressing, and cranberry sauce.
Not a stuffing person. I hate cranberry sauce. I think it's disgusting.
What? Mr. Think Classic is everything? You don't like dressing, son?
Yeah. Stuffing is okay, but cranberry sauce is horrible.
Now, I thought that I'm not invited to the cookout because I don't like mac and cheese. I ain't never known a black man who don't like dressing.
First of all, we don't call it dressing. It's stuffing, bro.
I thought white people call it dressing.
I know. Stuffing.
I mean, I thought white people call it stuffing because there's always stovetop stuffing. My mom always called it dressing.
Oh, I called it stuffing. I never called it dressing.
Well, regardless, though, I never met nobody who didn't like it. But be that as it may, it is only something that you have. I only have once a year, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it's good. Like, I can't wait to eat it.
It's like the only time I eat turkey, too.
But it sits in your stomach for days.
Yeah. And it takes forever to warm up in the microwave.
You think so?
Yeah, like Thanksgiving food takes forever to warm up. Like no matter how many times you got to put it back in at least twice because you feel it, put it back in, think it's done, pull it out, feel it, put it back in. Damn, the middle's still cold. Shit.
Okay, you got a point. Yeah. You got a point. I guess one of the controversies is I saw somebody said that turkey is actually disgusting and it's actually dry. It was Kobe from Jacob and Kobe.
Yeah, I put some juice, put some sauce on it, put some
That's
juice
what I
on
said,
it.
but he's white, so I was like, maybe your turkey is like.
Yeah, you gotta
dry,
put that
turkey's
juice on
always-
it.
Yeah,
Nobody likes a dry turkey.
my turkey's always been.
Dry bird.
Yeah, my turkey's always been juicy.
Yeah, like that juicy bird.
Yeah, man. So well, that's good, man. I ate over family house.
I actually got a turkey from Popeyes though.
You said what?
I got my turkey from Popeyes. We've been doing that for like the past 5 years too.
I'm sorry. Like, what you talking about? Turkey from Popeyes? Like, describe that to me. What do
Thanksgiving turkey, the big whole turkey.
they do turkeys?
Popeyes, yeah. Popeyes been doing that. Been on Popeyes turkeys for a good 5-6 years now.
So what they give you a turkey to cook, or they bring it over fried? Like
They already, I mean, it's seasoned and everything. Like
so you got to just put it in the oven.
Yep.
I did not know that. When they started doing that?
I don't know, but we've been doing it for at least 5-6 years.
Yeah, I had no idea. I definitely had no idea that Popeyes does that. How'd you get turned on to it?
The missus. That was her thing. She did that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah.
So I never got turned on to it. I just ate it.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's interesting. So is it good? Like it's
Yeah, it's definitely official.
okay. So do you got
Definitely a juicy bird.
How far ahead of time you have to order it?
You can just buy them. Like, they just sell them.
Oh, like so you go to Popeyes?
You go to Popeyes, like, give me a turkey.
Like Nino Brown.
Yeah, like, give me a turkey.
I never knew that. Never knew that.
Well, now you know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's interesting. I would never think that. Like I would not think that. You know, but that's understandable. If you got a house for 30 people, you're gonna look for the most convenient way to prepare the food because that's a lot of stuff that you got to do. So yeah, I guess you go. I mean, I ate over a family house. I ate over every year. Family that adopted me, my Jamaican Paul Wells. That's why that's my family. So ever since I moved to DC, so well they live out in PG, so I go over there. They got a big family too, because there's like 9 of them off the top. Not to mention you got kids and kids got kids. Like it's a lot of them too. So low key, I'm laughing at you, but it's like over 30 of them also too. And
Adds up quick.
yeah, man. Well, dinner be starting like around 1, because it's so many people.
These are like 3:30.
Yeah, it's so many. But the thing is, you have to start like that because there's so many people. You understand? So it was a good time. But the thing I like about for myself, because I'm a single brother, is taking home the plates.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like to go to people's houses like you, who be like, yeah, baby, take as much as you like. Because I'm really people. I will take as much as you let me. Like I don't try to be modest, because I actually fit that into my budget. Like okay, we're gonna eat Thanksgiving for about a good 2-3 days.
Yeah, after that it's nasty.
Yeah, no.
After that you get worms.
No, there's no way I would have any Thanksgiving meal right now. So, yeah, man. So that's cool. Watch the Lions lose.
I just threw some potato salad away earlier. I was like, why is this still in the refrigerator?
That sounds like it'd be nasty.
Yeah, I was like, why is this still here?
No, nobody was gonna want that. Yeah, so that's cool, man. I guess that's what holidays all about. I'm not really a holiday person, but I do enjoy the days off.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. I don't care how political or what I may feel about holidays. I'll never let go of the fact that you get the day off. Well,
Yeah, we got a day off for a murder.
Pretty much. That's what it really is. I saw this meme.
For a massacre.
I saw this meme that was kind of hilarious. And the meme said, when you at work during the holidays, people be like, damn, man, why they got you working on the holidays? He's like, because of you. It was so funny. Like, because of you, mama. Like, you in here. Like, people do be asking those stupid questions. Like, damn, man, as they get like 8-9 things. Like, man, they at the grocery store last minute shopping. Like, D, man, they got you working on the holiday. D, that's a damn shame. Yeah, you're right, motherfucker. It is a damn shame.
If I wasn't, you'd be SOL right now.
Right. So, yeah, man, that's all right. Well, a lot of things kind of happened. First off, I don't know how much people have been still paying attention to the election, but Kamala Harris announced that she's dropping out.
Yeah, she did.
She dropped out, man. So how did you feel about that? Did you hear that?
I heard about it, and I felt, actually, I noticed that Trump had said, goodbye, Camilla, we'll miss you. Mm-hmm. And then she had enough time for him. She
got time now.
She got a lot of time. She responded. She said, don't worry, Mr. President. I'll see you at your trial.
Yeah, she still said that,
It's like, I'll see you at your trial. Yeah. I'll still see you. Don't worry. I'll be around.
Yeah, she still got a job to do.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's about that time. I mean, running a presidential race is very expensive. People might not know that.
Yeah.
And once you realize that you probably not realistic anymore, you don't want to go in debt and
yeah.
So you're going to cash out on the money you do got and go on vacation for a little bit.
You know what I didn't know, too? Not this past election, but before, what I did not know is how people, even when they're done running right, a lot of times they do go into debt and they have to go on the campaign to repay the money. Mm-hmm. So that is a serious situation. Now, the argument was coming up, or whether or not do you think Kamala got like a fair chance? Like Cory Booker raised, a huge argument about that because he spoke out publicly about the fact that he felt like she didn't get like a fair chance, even though they were in the same race, competing with one another. So you feel that way? You feel like she got a fair chance, or she was being challenged about some of her policies out in California, or you think that she was,
I wasn't that close to it to really give an educated statement on that, but I mean, it's politics. None of it is really fair. I mean,
That's a solid point. I mean, even though you're admitting what you did not know, but that is a solid point. Like, politics is dirty.
Very dirty game.
Yeah, I do feel like that the moment that she announced that she was running, there were people. I had an argument, somewhat like a debate with my cousin who was like, I mean, people just had a couple questions. People in California when it comes to her policy. And my thing is people was upset about some of her policy choices, but she was a prosecutor. You know what I mean? They were like, she put a lot of black men in jail. I'm like, she's a prosecutor.
It's her job.
She's not a defense attorney. Like, and sometimes I think we don't necessarily understand what people's jobs are, And so I'm not saying that she couldn't have been challenged or she couldn't have been questioned, but I don't think that she was put to the fire like other candidates. Like, for example, the last election, everybody was on Hillary about the whole 94 crime bill that she agreed with her husband, right? Now, she was just a first lady at that time. But Joe Biden wrote that 94 bill, and he's leading in black polls. And when do you see anybody like really hold him accountable for that? So it's not the same. But to your point, to bring around full circle, politics is a dirty game.
Very dirty game.
It's a very dirty game. So I like Kamala. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't necessarily think she was gonna win because I have too much of a realistic type of viewpoint, and I still don't think there's a lot of people who are gonna be acceptable to voting for a woman. That's just how I love to be wrong.
I think they will. You just gotta be right. Like if Michelle hopped out there, Oprah hopped out there, they jumping on board.
I don't think so, man.
I do.
I don't think so because look what they voted for in spite of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that show you how far they was gonna go out their way to not.
I mean, that was the silent minority.
Yeah, they wasn't silent.
They ain't silent no more, but I mean, they was silent for a while.
Well, the thing I like about her clap back on Twitter is that also she gave a good example that just because you don't win the ultimate chip doesn't mean you still can't be a player in the game. So, when she clapped at Donald Trump like that, when she said, "I'll see you in trial," that's a good example that people know there's still somewhat of a fight to be done. Because everybody can't be president, but you can still participate, you can still fight. So I thought that was a good example.
There's only been 45 of them.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? In this whole entire country existence.
In what, 200 years?
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, that's one of those things, man. So, yeah. Well, wish her well. Also, this past week, your man Hov had turned 50.
Yeah,
now,
big 5-0.
Who would think hip-hop would ever go so far? I mean, Hov has got to be
a relevant 50-year-old rapper.
The first relevant 50-year-old rapper in history. He has to be. There's nobody else I can think of that was as relevant. That also lets you know how young hip-hop is. Because Hov is probably, 5 years older than hip-hop's existence in that sense, and so the fact that he's turning 50, I think, is a big deal. I mean, you think he's still got one more album in him, or he's capped out?
Of course, and he's coming.
You think so?
Yeah, and it's definitely coming.
He's definitely been growing his hair.
Yeah, that album's definitely coming.
He ain't cut his hair since 4/4, which is 2 years ago at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, you confess to cheating and get caught cheating. It brings a lot of stress.
I think you should. Yeah, I think you need a break. Yeah. Oh, wait. You had lemonade. You had to sit through first, right?
She definitely had her screaming back first.
So he had to sit through lemonade, sit on his hands about lemonade, and then then she was like, okay, now you go ahead and tell your story, and then put out his album. Yeah, I personally think Hov probably got like two more good ones in him before he probably just, cancel out. Because I don't think he's going to announce retirement anymore because I think he realized that we won't believe him.
Yeah.
So I think he'll just kind of fade to black.
Just continue to be the big businessman.
Yeah.
And go ahead and get him an NFL team like he said.
Yeah, I think so. Something that also I think gets not necessarily appreciated is that some of the contributions that Hov has made, to the game as far as his existence. Because when you think about the stages of the game that Hov has lived through, he could have been gone a while ago, and he didn't necessarily conform to whatever the next wave was. Like, remember the white tee era, or the...
He had big white tees, though.
No. I'm talking about the kind of music. I'm not talking about the clothes. I'm talking about, remember, that type of music when everybody was saying hip-hop was dead. Like, he always was Hov. That's the thing that you got to appreciate. And sometimes I don't think that we're used to appreciating greatness. Like, we don't necessarily want to give greatness its appreciation because in hip-hop, we're so used to appreciating people when they're not here, when they die tragically and everything like that. So people still have a hard time giving someone their just due while they're here. But there's only one Hov.
It's only one Hov. And there ain't going to be another one.
No, it is. What do you think is your favorite Hove moment or your most memorable Hove moment?
My most memorable Hove moment. Oh man, threw me off guard with that one. I don't know. We don't have to come back. What's yours?
I'll tell you one recent that I like that he does when he does the B-side concerts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's dope. You know what I mean? I think him taking it back to songs that maybe the mainstream still don't know and reintroducing people that know him now to those songs that we love, like when he does, you know, the Reasonable Doubt songs, or when he does the side, you know, the songs that necessarily wasn't on the radio. You know, that's a moment for me. But classic Hove for me is always going to be Blueprint.
Okay. But memorable moment, I'll say this, and this has nothing to do with music. It was when the riots went on in Baltimore and they arrested everybody.
Okay.
Him and Beyonce paid everybody's bail that got arrested during the riots in Baltimore.
That's real.
Every last person that got arrested during the riots, they bailed all of them out.
You knew some of the people?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I knew a couple people.
And how was it told to them, like, Beyonce and Jay just paid y'all get out? Like, how did they know, you know, when they were set free?
Your bail's has been set.
I'm saying how they know it came from J and B is all I was asking. That's all.
Oh, I don't know exactly how they found out. I mean, they just was told. It's a known fact because it's on your papers.
Oh, no. I just meant, like, at that time, like, did they know it, or did they find out later on, like everybody? That's all I was asking.
They probably found out when they was getting out.
Okay, that is a classic
It
moment.
came from the Carter Foundation.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it's so crazy because a lot of times, and I don't understand why, but they still get criticized for what they don't do for the community, and they still do a lot of things that are under the radar, and people don't necessarily give them their props for that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My favorite, I would say musically, my favorite Hove moment will always be Blueprint, because I feel like at that time Hove was definitely seasoned Hove. You know what I mean? Like, Jay was seasoned Jay. And I never forget the feeling we felt when we sat in the car. My boy had just bought the Blueprint from somebody off the street. We came out the club. Somebody was like, yo, I got that new Jay. My boy bought it. We sat in the car. We listened to the first track, which was Come On. And you know, he's going through and he's spitting. We all paying attention because, you know, the internet wasn't really popping, but we had heard that he had dissed Nas at the Hot 97 Jam. And then at the end, when he said, "Ask Nas, he don't want to Hove." Yo, dog, the way we exploded in that car was a real feeling. Like, we were like, "Yo, did you hear what he said?" Because at that time, a lot of diss records were still subliminal and people were making their assumptions. I'm not
post
saying
Big and Pac, nobody was saying names for a while.
Yes, because everybody was scared to go down that route. You know, it had been rumors whispered here and there and a couple source articles, but there was nothing actual factual. And when he started going
after
on,
Big and Pac, it was like a good 8 to 10 year span when nobody said anybody's name.
When he started going at Nas, yo, I remember being like, yo. And the thing is, it's gonna show you how things were so different back then, because Nas' album didn't come out until like 5, maybe 6 months later or whatever. But the anticipation.
Well, the Ether record came out before that, though.
Well, no. Well, see, a lot of people get that history messed up, because when he originally dissed Nas at the Hot 97, all he said was, "Ask Nas, he don't want to Hove," and that was it. And then Hove had dropped. Then Nas had dropped Stillmatic, which is a little freestyle, whatever. And Blueprint, the verse of Nas, was actually responding to that. And like you said, Ether had came out, and when Ether came out, we were all like, "Oh my God," you know. And he did pump life back into Nas a little bit more. You know what I mean? Nobody really wants to admit, but he did kind of pump Nas. But that's my favorite classic moment, because I just thought Blueprint was so, you know, it was such a well polished album, and definitely a classic. You know, a lot of times the artist has maybe one classic under their belt, and the rest of them are just good albums. But that was just a classic album. And nobody was messing with him at that time. You know what I mean? Like, when he came out with, you know, the Blueprint album, you know, as a whole, it was just like, all right, who touching me? You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was messing with him at that point. You know, when he was on the cover smoking that cigar, I think that signature says a lot. So yeah, shout out to him on that, and definitely the moves that he made, you know, after that. You know, like you said, I mean, even to what he's done recently, but like you said, we all know that. Yeah,
the Rock Nation, the sports, the agency, the everything. It's the record label, the management company is.
Yeah.
Films, his documentaries, his everything.
Yeah, and he also gave a little bit more life to people, because if you think about it, when he first said he was going to retire, he was 33 at that point. You know, so if you think about it, he would have set the standard of like, okay, but now you can definitely keep going. Because I don't care what no young rapper might say or whatever. You gotta look at Hov and want that longevity. You know what I mean? You may not listen to his music as a young kid coming up right now, but as far as his career, you have to look at that in that respect. There's no way Hov cannot be somewhere in your radar of wanting that long lasting respect.
Yeah,
and that long lasting love.
He's still laying people to rest when he spit.
This is true. Let's not forget that too.
Still spanking them.
Yeah, he's definitely still spanking them. Definitely still spanking them, man. So shout out to Hov, man, and gotta give a big up to him too because he's also a fellow Sagittarius because that's what we do.
And a vegan.
I ain't no vegan though, so I ain't with him on that. He's a straight up vegan. I thought they just practiced that for a little bit.
Yeah, he's a vegan.
Oh, I ain't on that path. I like a steak, and we just finished talking about Thanksgiving. We just went in. Also, BET had announced that they gave a green light to Uptown Records 3-part miniseries. Uptown Records started by Andre Harrell. Yeah, that's where Diddy had interned and worked and all that good stuff. I'm looking forward to that. I'm all about the Uptown miniseries. I don't know if the 3-part miniseries is going to be enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how long. If it's an hour long or 2 hours or hour and a half, I mean, 3 parts. I mean, even an hour, 3 parts, 3 hours. That's a good, nice long movie.
Here's why I say that. Have you been watching or have you caught any episode of the Wu-Tang series?
No, I still haven't watched that.
So I just started, right? Don't feel bad.
Because
I didn't have a Hulu account, so I asked somebody. So I ended up binging, watching. I watched 9. It's 10 episodes. I watched 9. And let me tell you, the way that story is developing, in all honesty, there are going to be some bios that we can't put all in one movie or not even a miniseries. Because honestly, I can see the Wu-Tang series itself going on a good 3 seasons.
Wu-Tang has got too many moving parts.
Well, you don't think Uptown Records do? Think about Uptown Records and what they put. I mean, no,
yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, Heavy D Puff, you got Jodeci, you got Mary J. Blige, you got Christopher Williams.
What they did with New York Undercover, remember they provided that whole soundtrack for that.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? Andre Harrell's history at first because he worked with Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? It's so much that you can tell in that all I'm saying is if you get a chance to watch the Wu-Tang series, you can see how the characters are developing. You understand? And so what I'm saying is that I don't know if 3 parts are going to be necessarily enough to still tell the whole story. Because think about it, the New Edition, they had 3 parts and they still said that people left things out.
Well, New Edition was also 3 decades.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
Uptown wasn't 3 decades. It was 1.
No, but their influence on what they did, even if think about a decade though, homie. A decade? Like a decade?
Well, you talking about 3 decades to 1 decade.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that 3 decades wasn't enough for 3 parts. I'm with you on that. But Uptown had a decade. You could make an argument. Still can do about 3 seasons.
Did they have a whole 10 years? They was going strong.
They started in 86.
They were long gone before 96.
No, I can't say that. No, they wasn't.
They were gone around 93.
No. Soul For Real.
Soul For Real was Uptown?
Soul For Real, yeah. And you got to remember Heavy D took over after that.
Right. That's why I think it was gone because I'm thinking Heavy D. But all right, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So all I'm trying to say is
they had a good 10 years.
All I'm trying to say is that we're going to have to start looking at some of this stuff as series. Trust me, when you get a chance, watch the Wu-Tang show and you'll understand where I'm coming from with that. Because there's a lot of character development that you can put into these bios that you can make them to a series. Because I was actually blown away at the fact of how good the Wu-Tang show is because there's a lot of information I still didn't know. I mean, I can imagine. I consider myself a Wu-Tang fan, but I'll give you a small example, right? In all the Wu-Tang members, who 2 come out the most that you think are the tightest?
Me? I mean, Method.
No. Within each other, who you think they're the tight as in their friendship?
Oh, as a friendship?
Yeah.
I was, you say Ghost and Raekwon.
Okay, Ghost and Raekwon. The show starts off, they were beefing. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about serious street beef. The first episode, you yo, they were beefing, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm talking about, I'm on episode 9. It's 10 episodes. And they still ain't friends yet. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Yeah. So now I'm curious about a season 2 because I want to know how y'all became friends because half of them were beefing with each other, bro. And I'm not talking about beefing on some battles.
Because they're not all from the same hood. That's what everybody thought.
Yeah, here's the thing. Now I'm not talking about battles. Okay, I battled you when I saw you. I'm talking about pop, pop, pop when I see you, shoot, shoot, shoot kind of beef. That I don't know if I can get over.
That was a horrible rhyme. He was pop, pop, pop when I see you.
Shoot, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scoop.
shoot.
Right. But my point is that I'm glad that it's a series to show that how it's developing. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, shout out to Uptown, shout out to Andre Harrell, because sometimes I think Andre Harrell doesn't necessarily get the props that he get because, you know, we don't like to do our history, but Uptown has a very much so unique sound, because if it wasn't for Uptown, hip hop would kind of still be uptight. You understand? Of like standing and being so hard. Uptown brought a little flavor, brought some style. So, you know, that's why you got to give props to, you know, to Uptown. So shout out to them on that. Also, I don't know if you got a chance to check this out, but NY lawmakers had introduced 2 bills that would prevent doctors from performing virginity exams after T.I. talked about checking his daughter's hymen.
Yes, I have. I did hear about that, but it's introduced. That doesn't mean it's going to get passed. It still has to go through a long process before it gets put into effect. But I did hear, though, if it does get passed, in the state that it is, because, you know, sometimes bills change before they get passed. So, but if it passed in the state that it's in, like, doctors will lose their licenses and actually could receive some jail time for like sexual assault and stuff like that. Yeah, charges that you could get for. So yeah.
I never asked you because, you know, we were off at that time. You have a daughter. Were you cool with what T.I. said or not cool?
Yeah, I'm on the record is actually saying I have never done it, but I can't say that I have a problem with him doing, because the perception was that he was in the room right there looking at all this, like being graphic, like right there with his daughter. He was not in the room. He was never in the examination room. He was in the waiting room, and you just got the results. So am I say I have a problem with him just knowing if she's getting OBGY? She was getting that appointment anyway. It's not like they went just for that, is what he said. She gets those checkups, as every female should get checked out down there. I mean, hey doc, everything still?
But you don't think
still
that was
tight?
You don't think that was a little invasive? I mean, I'm asking this because that was the argument, was that he was being invasive and you're intruding on a woman.
I don't think he was being invasive. I can't say that I'm mad at him for wanting to know. He didn't go into and do something. It was a what's the word I want to use? It was a checkup that's already there. So you're
They're not checking for hymens though.
All right, but I'm already there.
They're not checking for hymens. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're right. You are taking your daughter to get checked up, but they're not. It's not a hymen check.
It wasn't a hymen check. But am I mad that he wanted to know in order to save his daughter from herself? And we're not talking about 18-year-old Deja. We're talking about 14, 15, 16-year-old Deja. This is what everybody had misconstrued too. They think she's a grown woman and he's doing this. No, she was 14, 15. And he just want to know, my daughter's hymen is still intact. He's not saying do all this crazy stuff. He just wants to protect her from herself, so she doesn't make permanent decisions on temporary emotions.
I think some of the argument though still might have been missed, because I will say, to your point, maybe people did miss that he technically wasn't in the room. You know, that also he was talking about her when she was a child, not necessarily when she was 18.
It was a very past tense conversation.
But
Deja's 19 now.
But also what needs to be understood is that there's a huge argument that women are making about the fact that a violation, because there's a history of women being checked for that and being violated in that. Some being beaten, some being tortured. And when it comes to
you think T.I. is going to sit there and let his daughter get tortured and beaten?
No. You're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. There's a history that comes with that.
We're not talking about the history, though. We're talking about this instance.
Okay, you got to hear me, brother. You got to hear me. There's a history that women are raising, because, listen, I had to talk to a lot of women about this because I want to know. There's a history that comes with that we all should be hip to and listen about the violation of a woman's body and being used upon that. And there have been women who have been used and everything. So, and there's also been proven that the hymen necessarily not being there doesn't necessarily mean that you're sexually active, because it can be broken from riding a horse, or riding a dirt bike, right? And so there's a lot of things that come with that, with women controlling their body. There's an argument to be made that us as guys need to at least hear. But I hear both sides. Listen, I don't have a daughter. I have a niece, right?
I have 2 daughters.
And yes, you do. That's why I asked you. And so I'm not going to shoot you down, and I'm not going to shoot necessarily women who've been telling me about this history down too. I think it was a hell of an argument. But what I will say, out of all the things T.I. didn't say in his life about trapping, about shooting mug, it's crazy how this was the one that's going to make laws be put into the situation. That was the part that blew me, okay? Because T.I. done talked about a lot of things before then. But you mean tell me lawmakers don't want to come into effect because we want to talk about some hymen? I mean, what about them trap cookies and things that he didn't talk about all the years in the early 2000s? I mean, Urban Legend alone jhall, y'all want to do something about the drug laws, you know. So that's the part where I have my opinion in, you know. That's all. But like you said, it's just 2 bills. It doesn't necessarily mean it's actually going to pass, but
they could not see the light of day. You never know.
Or they can, right? This conversation can be going heavier, you know.
This is true.
Yeah, it can. Also, shout out to the Migos because they made a partnership with Uber Eats and Popeyes. They're going to launch a Migos menu. You know, you talked about Popeyes earlier.
Yes, sir.
Each member, Quavo, Offset, and Takeoff, will have their own specialty.
But they also got the tour driver too.
Spit on that. What's that?
The tour driver is the biggest one. That's the one.
What's it gonna do?
What's it gonna do? No, it's just a different meal. Each meal has like certain categories. Like it's like I think the tour driver was the biggest one. It's like a big family meal. I think it's like $49 or something like that.
And why they call it tour driver? Like they come to your house or something like that? Or?
I don't know why they named it the tour driver.
Who
I guess the tour driver is the fat guy that drives the bus. So all the bus drivers are usually big guys.
Okay.
So that's why they had the Quavo, the Offset, and the Takeoff. So I think the Quavo was like $27.99. No, the Offset was like $27.99. All right, you got like 20 tenders or something like that, or 20 tenders, something like that. But I know the Quavo, you got 2 chicken sandwiches, and like it was like 2 chicken sandwiches meals for like $21. And then the cheapest one, of course, was the Takeoff. So they did the Takeoff dirty. It was just like it was like five tenders, 2 fries, and a biscuit for $9.99. Takeoff got the worst of the brunt of it.
Listen, I had a theory before you just.
It's out now too, though. It's available now nationwide and in Canada.
Before you just broke down the actual facts, I had a theory that Offset was going to have the most popular one, and maybe low key Takeoff would have the one that actually tastes better. Like he probably have the Illmatic one. Like his would actually taste better. But after when you just broke it down, I'm not even going to want to order that because it seemed like a little cheap snack.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that.
Well, yeah, Takeoff got the worst. We got the $9.99.
Why?
But Offset got a little family meal. His like $27.99. I forgot the exact what it was. I think it's like 10 piece or something like that with the biscuits and the fries and the large mashed potatoes and gravy. But Quavo had the 2 chicken sandwiches and 2 fries and drink and all that stuff for $21.99. And but Takeoff, they did him dirty with the $9.99. I'm tired of Takeoff. 5 tenders and some fries and stuff.
I'm tired of Takeoff being the butt of our jokes, man. He can't get no respect even when it comes to chicken, bro.
Yeah, but he's still getting a check though.
I mean, this is true.
Still getting a check.
And you know what? You know, he's not the weakest member in weak member category in groups. There's been other members that have just gotten a check. Like, for example, the Lost Boys. There were 2 guys in Lost Boys that did not do anything.
Didn't say a rhyme.
They didn't do nothing, right? But besides Freaky Ty and Mr.
Freaky
Cheeks.
Ty, Pretty Lou.
I don't know what Pretty Lou did. I don't. You know, shout out to him. But
Pretty Lou was a shooter. That's what it was.
Yeah, man. So shout out to Migos for making that happen with the chicken. I mean, listen, it's a better time than any time to get involved with Popeyes, you know. But here's my thing. So none of them are going to have the chicken sandwich in there?
What do you mean none of them going to have the chicken sandwich? I told you.
I didn't hear it. My fault.
Quavo had 2 chicken sandwiches and fries.
The Popeyes chicken sandwich. Okay.
That was the Quavo.
Have you had the chicken sandwich yet?
Of course. I had a chicken sandwich.
How is it?
I mean, it's cool. It's a good sandwich. It's a good sandwich. Was it worth people dying and stabbed over? No, but it's a good sandwich. It's a very good.
I mean, because technically, I you know, I don't really eat fast. I don't eat fast food.
No, that's good.
I'm not gonna lie. I was curious about the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
No, it's a good sandwich. You can get it now easily. The hype is down, so
okay.
You don't gotta wait in line for it. Yeah, you might not get beat up right now.
Shoot, I might go after this just to try. Also, moving on, R. Kelly. Your boy R. Kelly, he has been indicted on robbery charges. A revised document had came out that stated that Kelly had got paperwork forged to say Aaliyah was 18 when he married her.
They was gonna get him for Aaliyah.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to Kels, right, and it comes to the things that he's going down for, the Aaliyah situation probably you can actually make an argument that it was way overdue.
Yeah, he ain't making the right people money no more.
So everybody's giving him up.
Yeah, he ain't making nobody no money no more. Well, he still making people money, but he not making the right people a lot of money no more like he was. I'm
going to be honest with you. After watching that documentary, I do feel like not only should R. Kelly go to jail, but everybody that helped him. Like, even those people, they should go. Like, they should. Because he didn't do it by himself.
All the handlers.
Dude, the guy that said that he signed his signature. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should be in jail already with Kels.
Yeah.
He should be in jail. I mean, well, one of Kel's brothers is already in jail because we saw that in the doc. But everybody else that helped him should be in jail.
Or do him like Bumpy Johnson did in Godfather Harlem series. Have you watched that?
I saw the first episode. I ain't seen it.
No.
What did he do? Tell me.
Oh, well, what he does, he straps the guys down with the ass up in the air, and he brings in this guy named Big Dick Buster.
What?
Big Dick Buster comes in and rapes him.
And comes.
Yeah.
I did. That was on the first episode. No, I did see
But
that.
Big Dick Buster is a recurring. He
comes back?
Oh yeah, he comes back. He's a hitter. He's a hitter.
He's a hitter for real.
He's a hitter for real. Yeah, he's a hitter.
I saw that's
all right. After we beat you up, smack you around, you still don't want to talk. You still don't want to let me know what I want to know. All right, hey, bring in Big Dick Buster.
Yo, son. As soon as you say that name, I'm giving up everything. I'm gonna tell you when the stash at and everything.
Tell him nice and calmly. Well, you probably want to know why you're tied up and bound the way that you are right now. Because I figured that you wouldn't want to give me the information and wouldn't want to fess up and snitch on your people. I get that. So I got other ways of doing that. So, Big Dick Buster, come on in. It is this real green mile big dude. And he comes in. And then next thing you know, all you hear is screaming.
No way. And you know he ain't oiling up nothing.
He took the lining out of Oh, man.
Would you snitch if somebody had you tied up and they brought in someone named Big Dick Buster?
Man, just shoot me, man.
No, they not. No, they got you tied up.
Just shoot me in the head, man.
Bro,
I'm
I'm about to tell everything, bro. As soon as you tell
shoot me in the head.
If you whistle how do you even call somebody for that and say, hey, what's up, man? I need you to do I need you to come rape a couple dudes.
Hey, maybe it's real life booty goons, man. That's
like Ray J, right?
Real life. Bumpy Johnson had real life booty goons.
I'll never forget how much passion Ray J said that when he was like, and they can rape that nigga. Like, I've never heard that still to this day. Jeez.
Yeah, Bumpy Johnson had real life booty goons.
It might be a Big Dick Buster in jail for R. Kelly waiting on him.
Yeah, he probably already got him. That's why he trying to get out of there so bad. He talking about he having all types of attacks and his health is declining and everything. He wants his own nurse and stuff like that. Yeah, he trying to pull a Suge, saying he need his own nurse and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the thing is different is that Suge still in the streets had a lot more respect than R. Kelly. R. Kelly go in there, he definitely shouldn't be in no Gen Pop. There's no, I mean, listen, I don't care. But if he's in Gen Pop, he's not gonna last long.
Your body's calling me. That's what they gonna tell R. Kelly.
Oh, they walk in. Can you imagine the intro when he walking in and he's holding on?
Telling me no.
Right, and he's holding on his clothes when he walking in. I mean, we talking about years and years of people that's been waiting on Kels. In Illinois? Ooh, no way.
Is he federal?
I don't know. They're probably gonna get him on that too.
Yeah, he probably won't be in Illinois.
So where you think he'll be?
He's gonna be somewhere out in Oklahoma or something. Middle of nowhere, Idaho.
They're gonna look forward to him too.
Whoever, they gonna know R. Kelly.
They're gonna look forward to
hair,
him.
no hair, beard or no beard. You know R. Kelly.
Oh yeah. They're gonna look forward to him. And they're gonna make him sing. Both ways. They're gonna make him sing both ways. Well, you know. Let's move on past something that's not Big Dick Buster-ish. Somebody who is recovering, French Montana, has finally been discharged after being in the hospital. You know, he was in the hospital for 2 weeks. The doctors had put him on bed rest because he technically got diagnosed with too much working. His symptoms were severe stomach pain.
That rich folks disease they call exhaustion.
That's rich folks disease?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You know, poor people don't get exhaustion. I mean, we can't afford to get exhaustion.
No, that's true. We just got to go to work.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying now. Okay, I see what you did there.
That's a rich folks. That's a rich folks.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard that, I felt a certain type of way because French doesn't give you the impression that he works hard. I'm not saying he doesn't, but
it just don't look like he's doing too much of nothing.
But that's always been his thing. He's always kind of talking about,
because he's so laid backish.
Yeah, and he always kind of brag about the fact that he's not gonna put too much into writing rhymes and he ain't gonna put too much into doing it. So he don't give you the impression that he's technically working hard for this. Like he's always came across as this pretty cool.
Just comes easy. So I'm gonna.
It just comes. Yeah, women come. Everything comes easy to me. So when I saw overwork, I'm like, overwork doing what? Sex? Because I mean that will work here. Yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's not Big Dick Buster.
What?
That is not a good problem to have. But yeah, but apparently that's why he couldn't promote the album, because he had an album that actually dropped as we speak, Montana. And he couldn't necessarily promote it because he had been not feeling too good.
Yeah, he had the record with Cardi B on there too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't even hear it. I haven't heard it yet.
I've heard. They got a video out there, though. Where
Okay.
they standing on top. They sitting on top of the projects in Bronx.
See, he's sitting, so he don't give you the impression that
of
he's
the
working
Bronx.
hard. You say he was just sitting, right? I mean, overall, you want somebody. I don't never want nobody to die for their profession, because that's the one thing that we kind of got to get out of, because we were all raised to believe, sleep is for, sleep is the cousin of death, and you got to keep going and stay up. But truthfully, you do need to
stay
get
up.
rest.
You gonna die.
You gonna die. And there's been times where I've been working hard on something, then I can see myself nodding off. And what I say is that if I try to stay up and fight this, what I'm doing is not going to be the best anything anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I might as well at least rest for at least a few hours and then wake back up. Now, I'll do that. I ain't going to lie to you. I don't sleep long. You know what I mean? But I'll take
Power naps.
Oh, no. I've been taking power naps since 2005. I don't know what it's like to actually just go to bed and have a long, extended rest. I take power naps throughout the time.
You definitely won't know what it's like once you start having kids.
What, talking about having long extended sleep?
Yeah.
I thought y'all don't get sleep. I thought that's what the whole thing is. When you start having kids, you don't get sleep.
Absolutely not.
Oh, really?
No.
Or it's just when they're newborn?
Newborns until they get old enough where you can just say go to bed.
I thought that was the first thing somebody told me, is that when you first have a kid, you ain't gonna get no sleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
They cry all the time.
Absolutely.
So that's what you tell me. You said I'm not gonna get no sleep.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant saying I was going to get sleep.
No,
okay.
absolutely not.
Oh, so you said I'm preparing myself that when I have kids, I'll be already
Yeah,
equipped.
yeah.
Oh, okay, got you.
But you ain't gonna be equipped for that, because that's out of the ordinary. No sleep. Like, you think you about to get some sleep, and then it's just like, oh shit! All of a sudden, I ain't getting no sleep.
What do you always wonder? What do you do? Like, what if you're a hard sleeper and your baby's just crying? What happens with the baby?
You gonna hear that?
I remember I asked my mom.
certain things cut through. Like, you know how you can hear certain sounds out of anything?
That's real.
That's one of the sounds you'll hear through anything.
Okay. Is it because it's a particular sound and it's never the same? It's never the same.
Absolutely.
Too.
It's gonna
not like
cut
your
through.
alarm clock. Yeah.
It's gonna cut through.
I remember asking my mom that, and my mother was like, they just go back to sleep. You can tell my mom, like, 80 parent, like, she ain't
I mean, yeah, you can do that too. I mean, you'll reach that point too. Like, that nigga just don't have to cry himself back to sleep. I'm sorry, I'm done. You gonna do that? One of those little Jesus take the wheel type moments. You gonna have those too. That comes.
But does that come from being a seasoned parent? I'm pretty sure you weren't like that when your first daughter was born. You probably like that now, where you can tell the difference, or
yeah, you can tell the difference. I mean, but you know, so
I know the first kid you probably was.
You gonna have to just get over that. You gonna have to get over that. You'll be all right in a couple minutes.
And do this turn out to be okay?
Absolutely, they ain't gonna die.
I mean, your kids are still here, so I'm trusting what you're saying.
I'm still here.
Right, I'm still strong. Well, yeah. Well, shout out to French. I hope he gets all the rest he can. He has a rest for 30 days. But one thing you got to realize is that no matter what you are putting your passion into, and trust me, me and you, we talk about that all the time, putting our passion into things. But you don't want to put your passion in something when you're not able to actually complete it. You don't want to die. It ain't worth dying for.
I don't want to die.
No, you don't want to die. Like, dying ain't cool because it's so final. So that's not what you want. Some new music did pop up though. Roddy Ricch. Please excuse me for being antisocial.
Fire.
We already talked about French Montana. Oh, so you heard the Roddy Ricch? You like
yes,
it?
I did.
Don't call it classic, bro, because
I didn't call it classic. I said it's fire. I said he did his thing.
If you would have said classic,
I don't even be saying it like that. You just tripping,
bruh. We gonna
Slurpee is a classic, so I don't know what you're talking about. But
okay,
anyway.
First of all, pause, and I don't even say the word pause.
Slurpees are classic. That's an American classic. Slurpee is an American classic, like a hot dog in like a big bite, like a ballpark Frank. That's got Slurpees, like McDonald's fries, American classic.
Bro, you call everything a classic.
Stop it. No, I don't.
There was an album we were talking about not too long ago. You was like classic.
I didn't say that.
Well, I'm gonna edit a piece of all the times you've called something classic. I guarantee you. Matter of fact, if you listen to this show, write in our comment section about how many times Akademiks has called something classic. Please make sure you do that, because he calls something classic like all the time. Also, XXXTentacion put out an album, Bad Vibes Forever, where his people put out an album, and I'm pretty sure it's a collection of songs that he hadn't worked on or whatever, but it's called Bad Vibes Forever.
All right. You forgot about the game too.
Well, I was gonna get into that.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, the game dropped Born to Rap.
Okay,
you get a chance, you can go to my IG page at J.Hall Radio. I did a review of that. What you think about it?
I thought that was good too.
It's his final album.
Yeah, he says, but I thought that was good too. And the record he got on there with Nipsey is crazy.
So he has a couple records on there with Nipsey, and when you listen to the album, there are a couple songs where he almost sounds like Nipsey. Now I don't know if he sounds like Nipsey because it's that familiar California draw, or he was trying to give props to Nipsey. But there are some times where he's mentioning Nipsey and he has a song with Nipsey. You're reminded that Nipsey is gone and it doesn't feel good. It's 24 songs on there.
But
though.
when Nipsey come on that record, he breathed life onto it, and it's just like, man.
Yeah, I would say the album is really good. I don't know if it'll actually be his final album because rap
Definitely
is right
won't.
all the time.
He gonna need to pay some bills in a couple years.
You don't think Game is set up where he be straight?
I mean, yeah, but he gonna need to pay some bills. I mean, that boy like drive Lamborghini trucks and stuff like that.
Those are not cheap.
Keep up with that stuff. It costs money.
Yeah.
And it means you need some new money.
Yeah. Well, here's a question real quick. You know, his man Whack 100 kind of caught some steam because he said that Nipsey was not a legend. You agree with that?
No.
Because his whole thing was numbers, and he was making a comparison like if Dr. Dre was to die right now, he'll be considered a legend. And he was like, Nipsey didn't have numbers. He technically only put out one album. That's what he's going by. So you think there's some truth to that? You think the word legend got tossed around real loosely because we miss him?
No, I don't think the word legend got tossed around in his case loosely because it's not just about numbers all the time. Sometimes it's about your impact on everything. And he was a legend in where he matter of fact, he may have not have been as big outside of the last album nationally, but on that West Coast, Nipsey been that guy. So
Yeah.
But everybody always talk about Whack. He always hating on somebody though.
I like to think that when it comes to, I think you can probably at the moment not be a legend, but there are times where you were so close that when you die, you get elevated to legendary status too, because people rediscover your music and they
go back and they
see your
listen.
impact.
They go back and they listen,
and they see your impact. Right?
And it's just a thing of finality. That's like, dang, this is all I'm gonna get. So
and legends grow.
Is it. Yeah,
I think legends. I think there are different levels of legends. Like, will Nipsey be a legend like the way Dr. Dre will be a legend? No. But can you say that he's a legend? Yes, because it's not also, like you said, it's not necessarily about numbers. Because if that's the case, then Vanilla Ice is a legend.
Get out of here.
And he's nowhere near a legend, correct?
No, this podcast is over if you say he's a legend.
No way I'm going to say that. But
Okay.
if we're talking about numbers, hip hop has never been just about numbers. To your point is what I'm saying. Like, you can't just say it's just about numbers. You know, didn't Wack get into it with Mike Tyson because apparently he was talking bad about Tupac, and that was Mike Tyson's friend, and they got in a fight I think during the podcast because I remember when
that was Mike Tyson, man, though.
Yeah, he said they cool now, but they fought. Because Wack has said, men fight, me and Mike still cool. And then Mike put up a picture of him and Pac and said his famous quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Ain't that right, Wack? Because, we forget that Tyson is another one like Jay. He lived through a lot of these errors. And these people were his friend. Tupac was his real friend, not someone who he just dapped up. That was his man.
Tupac died. Tupac was in Vegas because he introduced Mike at that fight.
He
was rapping as Mike was coming out to the ring.
Go, right? So when you have something like that, Wack is kind of always saying something on edge. Sometimes I think people get addicted to saying things on the edge. Like, they'll say one thing that catch fire, and then they want to make sure that everything they say after that catches fire. So sometimes I have a hard time. I struggle with believing.
He be clout chasing.
Sometimes I struggle believing how authentic people's opinion be, because sometimes I say to myself, like, is that point that you're trying to make really necessary? Like who asked you? Like, did somebody come up to you and say, hey, do you think Nipsey's a legend? Like, what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say absolutely.
Yeah, but my point is like, when you go so hard for something, sometimes I feel like it doesn't. No one necessarily asks you. Like, I don't know how that conversation even got brought up. I don't know if somebody asked Wack or he just brought it up. But to your point, he always seems to be in the mix of certain things. You know what I mean? So, that's I think the fact that Nipsey filled out the Staples Center.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Pack that junk.
There are a lot of rappers who ain't filling that up, dead or not. They're not filling that up when they're alive. You know what I mean? So I think Nipsey, and what we keep hearing about him, and the things that he was doing throughout the streets, and the things he was doing with business ownership, and the things he was doing with his charitable donations and all of that, those things elevate you to legendary status too. Because in all honesty, he did a lot more on the charitable side than a lot of rappers that you are calling legends. They had more numbers.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's all about that too. But to bring it back to what we were saying about Game album, I think Game I think that Born a Rap album is masterfully put together. I think it has too many songs, but I think it's masterfully put together. Because 24 songs is a lot for anybody. I don't care who you are. 24 songs is a lot. But it's a solid album. And sometimes we forget, because Game, he has a lot of antics. You understand? Like, remember the controversy when they first were talking about the Born to Rap album? Was he was talking about sleeping with Kim K and all that other stuff? And sometimes I think Game jumps into things that he shouldn't jump into. Just mention things because I feel like he's so talented, but we forget that Game is a spitter.
Yes, he is.
You know what I mean? Game is definitely a spitter.
I like the record he got on there with Anderson .Paak. He had a couple of records on there that I
Anderson
really
.Paak one is dope.
Yeah, the Stainless record, and he had Hug the Block where he talked about his dad and his brother ain't going back.
That hit me. I ain't know his brother passed.
One of them.
Is that the one that was like his idol? He had the one who was the gang, the one that got him into the gang. Is that the one who passed? That's my question.
I don't want to say it wrong, but I think so. I
didn't know because he talked about the fact that he was beefing with both of them when they passed, and I do know him and his brother had fell out. I didn't know I didn't even know his father had passed, but yeah, I like that record. I like the one with 21 Savage. I like that one. I thought that's the best I've ever heard 21 spit.
Yeah. I've
never heard 21 spit.
It's been a good time for music right now.
Yeah,
it's a lot of good music coming out.
Born to Rap is a dope album, man. We got anything in sports?
And Fabulous.
Oh yeah, Springtime Shootout, right?
Summertime Shootout, bro. Summertime Shootout 3 is definitely out. That's I
ain't get a chance to listen to it yet.
Oh nah.
I added it on my phone.
I listen to that.
How you
Fabulous don't let me down. He don't let me down.
It's so interesting because Fab has been out now going on 20 years. Because, technically he did his first freestyle in 98 off the Clue mixtapes. His first album came out in like 2000. And it's interesting because I didn't really respect Fab until he started putting out the mixtapes.
What?
Nah. Because his songs for me back then, they were too candy for me. And I just wasn't impressed by the stuff that he was saying. I can't deny it. Like they were good, the songs Little Mo and all that, they were good little commercial songs, but I just wasn't into it. But I didn't really appreciate Fab until he started coming out with the mixtapes on the ground. I started really appreciating his, his spitting ability.
I was always a Fab fan from the beginning.
And I couldn't get into somebody whose name was Fabulous at that time. That was just me at that time.
Hey, that's you.
It was.
But also, we got another one, last one, Trap Hero, Young Scooter, which definitely got some heat on there. He never let you down either when it comes to that down south, that trap lingo, and that trap music, Young Scooter just he does it. And he got the record on there for me is the one with Lil Baby, the Petty record.
Anybody else?
I think that's about it. That's about it this week. That's a lot of music though.
Oh, it is.
That's a lot of music.
What about sports?
What about sports? I mean,
we care about David Fizdale got fired from the Knicks, or we saw that coming.
Well, they probably just did him a favor because they paying out the rest of his contract.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with their last three coaches. They ended up buying him out of their contract. They bought out Phil Jackson for like $30 million.
Well,
they
he
bought
was a
out
manager. He wasn't a coach.
But they bought out Mark Jackson for like $20 million. They just cashing out. Hire me and fire me. Sheesh. I'll take that.
That has to be the most. I've never been a Knicks fan.
We're going to fire you, but we're going to pay you for the next 3 years anyway.
Yeah, but that has to be one of the quickest checks you can ever make is to be a coach at the Knicks.
Yeah.
You go there, you be a coach for like, what, a year, some change. You might write down that your contract might say 5 years, but we know that's not going to
Somebody
last.
just said the New York Knicks or the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA.
No, they're not because there's no expectations for them. Well, actually, it is, I guess, to New York fans.
Well, because you got the owner.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You know what, though? That's true because they get the most press and they don't do nothing.
And they're the most valuable franchise in the NBA, over $4 billion. And they only got 4 wins.
Who?
The Knicks.
They're the most what?
Valued.
As of right now?
As of right now. Like, they're worth the most. Out of all the franchises in America, out of all the basketball franchises in the NBA, they're worth the most.
How? Like, what merchandise people merchandise?
People buy merchandise, Knicks hats, New York. New Yorkers rep New York to the death. So, it's
so they just making money from their
state.
So
you ever met a New Yorker that's out of town?
Yeah.
You know how much they tell you they love their city?
Yeah, they're annoying.
They love it so much. Why ain't you there? But but they rep it so hard. So that's I think New Yorkers get extra New York when they not in New York.
Oh, they do. There's no question.
So they buy everything New York.
It's no question.
When
they're there, they barely have it.
Yeah,
but
so
when they leave,
they nicked out.
Yeah,
they Giants out.
Yes, it's so true.
They ain't Yankeed out every other day. Get out of here. But that's why New York Knicks most valued franchise
and the most trash.
Yeah,
and the most trash. Well, go figure. I didn't know that. Go figure. Well,
that's just my little 2 cents of my scenario. But
he got.
It's probably a little bit of truth to that. But
he got a check though. So shout out to him.
It is a historic franchise.
It's historic.
That only got like 1 championship, but
2.
2? Oh,
Yeah.
it is 2. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
it was like 80 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, it was definitely Walt Frazier.
Definitely Walt Frazier. Both of them.
70s.
Yeah, early 70s too. Not even late 70s.
They did go to the finals in 90. What was that? 94.
Yeah, with Patrick Ewing.
Well, the year Mike was out,
Yeah, Houston
95.
Rockets.
95. And they lost to them, and then they won again. They lost to the Spurs with Latrell Sprewell and them.
They did?
Yeah, it was like late 90s.
That was like 99. That was the year after Mike.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even care. I didn't even care.
That's the only way you can get through the East is when Mike wasn't there.
Yeah, I didn't even care. I didn't even care.
Mike wasn't letting nobody out the East in the 90s.
He wasn't. He wasn't. There are people still mad at Mike.
Yeah, Orlando caught him slipping because he came back in the season.
He came at like mid-season.
Wasn't he mid-season?
Yeah.
It was 12 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And Horace Grant said that he told them next year when they played him, he told them like, look, don't take Mike. He's like, Mike ain't gonna forget what we did to him last year. He said he told Penny and Shaq, like, Mike is not going to forget what we did to him last year. He said, don't sleep on him. He said he warned him.
And he swept them.
Yeah, and ended that Penny and Shaq run.
Yeah, he swept them that next year. Man, Mike would have never retired. He'd have ran through the 90s. He at least got 8 straight. If he'd have retired in 98, he'd have went 8 straight. He could have went 10 straight probably.
I mean, that team, especially that 96 Bulls team, especially that second Bulls team. And you think about it, that was what we consider now, what we be complaining about being unfair. But that team was well stacked. We were screaming that was unfair back then. Because think about the All-Stars they had. And they had people who were starters from other teams.
The All-Stars were only Jordan and Pippen. Nobody else was injured. Rodman was 90.
He was an all-star. Yeah, he was probably 916. Come on, man. Rodman was definitely an all-star. You had Rodman, you had Pippen, and you had Jordan. That's 3 all-stars right there on one team starting. That's the truth.
Rodman was just defense, though. He didn't score.
Doesn't matter. He was good. It was good.
Doesn't matter. He was good.
No, his contribution was worth it. Like, you saw Jordan tell you himself. Like, he'd tell you himself, like, he had already had 1 championship, but that 96 Bull team he said was special. So, you just got to give it to it. And mind you, this is coming from someone who hates Jordan. I hated his guts as a kid. Okay, so if I'm giving him props, please don't have me repeat this.
All right, well, let's move on then. Let's move on.
Yeah, but let me ask you real quick, how you feel about the NFC East, because the fact that they've been talking about how trash they are.
I feel like to throw the whole thing away this year. Like, this is terrible. Like, even though I'm an Eagles fan, and I'm happy the Cowboys lost and put us back in it, but it's disgusting. Like, it's disgusting.
Up until like a week, I think, what was it, like a week ago or 2
what
weeks
makes
ago?
it, before you even finish your statement, what makes it even more trash? The Washington Redskins are right now set to have the
That's what I was about to talk about. You're not cutting me off. That's what I'm about to say.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
They're on schedule to have the number 3 pick in the NFL draft.
Well, okay.
Which requires you to have a horrible record. And technically, as of right now, they're statistically not out of the playoff hunt.
So that's what I was about to say. Yeah, the fact that they still technically can make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's just horrible.
That's crazy.
It's just horrible.
I saw somebody had put up a meme and it was 4 trash cans.
But then again,
the NFC East.
Yeah, but then again, the Giants did go to the Super Bowl 8-8.
Yeah, but that's still
out of the NFC East.
Yeah, but that's still 8-8.
Okay, and so did Kurt Warner with the Arizona Cardinals. So you never know.
Hey, listen, but that was 8-8. These teams that they're not even making. The Cowboys ain't even won 8.
Well, Cowboys are 6-7 right now, and the Eagles are 5-7 because the Cowboys have
and the Skins are what?
Like 2-9.
That's horrible, bro.
But yeah. So I mean, hey, it's still trash, but you never know. And my boys get in, we get in the dance. Hey, we in there.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to them then. Got to give a big ups to Pimp C. Because back in 2007, this was the week of his passing. It's hard to believe Pimp C's been gone that long.
Yeah.
2007?
I choose you.
That's hard to believe. That go to show you how music really can keep you alive. You know what I mean? Because like we talked about with Nipsey, we're not necessarily going to, until we're reminded, we're not necessarily going to feel Nipsey been gone maybe until like another year or so. Us who are not his family, of course.
Until his features stop popping up.
Yeah. Because remember, Pimp C had mad features that, were still surfacing and things like that. We ain't gonna talk about Tupac. He had stuff going on until I became an adult. So, also, this was the anniversary of Purple Haze by Cameron. Came out back in 2004.
Oh,
that's crazy, right? Purple Haze. I think that was song. One of my favorite songs was Down and Out with him and Kanye.
Oh yeah, down.
Yeah, I love
My
that
joint
one,
was
man.
Touch It or Not.
Yeah. Big ups to that. Yeah. Well, yeah, and Touch It or Not had that on there too. This the J diss. When he had the guy Jimmy Walker from Good Times, looking like Jay. He had the sandals, the open toe sandals. Yeah. And I remember the guy Jimmy Walker didn't know that he was supposed to be a Jay prop. He thought he was just hired to do the video. He thought he was just doing the video. But fast forward, Cam and Jay is cool, right? Because matter of fact, at that show when Jay does the B-sides, Cam and Jim showed up and performed.
As they should. I mean, you want that platform.
Absolutely. Everybody comes around full circle.
Yeah.
Jay always wins the war. Even with Nas, I always tell people Nas won the battle, but the war, because didn't Nas end up signing with Def Jam and Jay was president? So
I was under the Carter administration.
yeah, man. Also, just wanted to ask you, did you ever get a chance to check out? I probably know this answer, but you get a chance to check out Queen of Slim?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but I want to.
Yeah, man. When you see it, just be prepared. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, I can't wait to go see it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, just be prepared. That's all. Just be prepared. Well, I think we covered everything, man. What you got going on this weekend? We do some church announcements, homie. What you got coming up? Anything coming up good?
Just keeping these records spinning time with the kids,
Nothing on your site. You ain't got nothing going on, bro.
Just
we talked about off mic. Nothing you want to plug. That you always be encouraged to do,
Wednesdays, 10:15 Lounge.
There you go.
DC, Sundays, Gold Room Bar Lounge in DC. Saturdays in Baltimore. Your Bass, Hookah Lounge. Just working.
Yeah, there you
YouTube, Instagram, IG, Twitter.
What's the YouTube called, bro?
It's Impact TV.
Thank you, because it's not called DJ Akademiks.
Definitely not. It's called Impact TV. That's right. All the interviews is up on there, and I got one that just did one with Eric Bellinger that's going to be up on there Monday.
There you go, bro. See, it was that hard. That hard?
Pause.
Yeah. Oh, this is true. Again, I did the review recently on the Game Born a Rap album. You can check out all my social media platforms at J.Hall Radio, YouTube, IG, all that good stuff, and you can see that. There's also a playlist I did for AURN online called the Cuffing Season 2019 playlist. You can check that out on my site too at J.Hall Radio.
I saw that.
Or you can go to AURN online. You can check that out. It's all the songs for Cuffing Season for people that like to do Netflix and chill, or what I like to call the new Disney Plus and Us. Right. Have yourself a little fun for that playlist, okay?
Just hopefully your account ain't get hacked.
Yeah. Hopefully. Make sure you follow us on our Twitter at WHMS98. Follow this guy right here at DJ Akademiks. Make sure you follow me at J.Hall Radio. If ain't nothing else, as usual, be blessed and successful, and we'll talk to you soon. We ghost!
It's the Hip Hop Matrix Show.